hard drives inevitably fail. That's just a fact of life, and when they do, if you haven't tested your system, you may not be properly prepared to recover the data. Recently, I was going on a trip and went to offload some photos on my Samsung T7 external hard drive. And nothing. I couldn't get the drive to mount, and it was giving me a series of flashing blue and red lights that the internet wasn't helpful to solve. This sort of triggered a let's get serious about data moment for me. I had set up a NAS, but it wasn't backing up to the cloud. I had some computer backup tools like Backblaze Backup set up for my Mac Studio, but I wasn't really ready. The Samsung drive failed and I didn't even know what data was on it. I hadn't even known what I had lost. You might have heard about the 3-2-1 backup or people online saying if you have 2 copies of your data on 2 different drives, then you really only have 1 copy. So here's my less than perfect system. Everything has flaws. The biggest two with mine is that all physical media is in the same location, and I don't really have good automation between the drives. I'm manually copying files to make duplicates. I use an external drive for editing photos and videos. After I finish shooting, I dump the footage onto my 2 terabyte drive, and then I'll make a copy on my 4 terabyte RAID that's connected to my Mac Studio. Both of these are backed up to the cloud using Backblaze's computer backup service. This at least gives me redundancy, so I have the files I've captured in 2 different places, or 2 different drives. As an aside, Apple has a really handy disk utility that includes a RAID tool. So I bought 2 4 terabyte Samsung T9 external hard drives. They go on sale periodically, most recently for Prime Day and last year for Black Friday. And I set up a RAID 1 partition, also known as mirrored disk. So both of these drives have the same copy of the files on them. The other thing that's cool about this RAID utility is if you wanted to take these 2 4 terabyte drives and make a big 8 terabyte drive, you can make a concatenated disk, or you could theoretically try to speed up disk performance with a RAID 0 setup. When I'm done with my project in DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro, I will then copy all of those files over to my NAS, which is now automatically backed up with Backblaze's B2 storage after this Samsung drive failed. Backblaze B2 is similar to AWS, something like Deep Archive, but from what I've read online, the retrieval costs can be quite high because AWS really is set up for businesses and not an individual user. The other thing I sort of deduced was that Backblaze's monthly storage prices are slightly higher. So while you can achieve pretty low monthly costs on AWS, if you need to get the data out of there, it can become expensive quickly. So far, my NAS has about 2.5 terabytes of data on it. About 400 gigabytes of that has uploaded to Backblaze. It's showing me an estimate of about $4 a month. I'm assuming that by the time this is done downloading, once my daily average gets up to that 2.5 terabyte mark, I expect to be paying around $12 a month for Backblaze backup. My computer backup, just like anybody else, is $105 a year. That backs up everything that's on your computer's hard drive in addition to everything that is on the external drives that are permanently attached to your computer. By default, the version history is 30 days on files, which is perfect for me because once I'm done editing photos or videos, the version history of the file isn't really changing. So I am not sponsored by Backblaze, but there is an affiliate link in the description down below if you wanted to subscribe to any of their services. When you choose to buy a plan with the link below, you'll get a month free, and I will also get a month free, so win-win for both of us. In this case, I have a lot of redundancy. Data nerds might tell me that I don't really have a backup, since I don't have a physical drive being stored at any other location. And I mentioned I'm moving files manually, so I plop the SD card into my computer, I'm copying the files over to my editing drive, I'm also manually copying those to the RAID setup, and then when I'm done, I'm manually copying those over to the NAS. So I'll be looking into ways to automate this on a weekly or daily basis in the future, but right now that's just how my setup is. Other than that, I should knock on wood. Throughout the years, I've had some hard drives fail. Crucial SSD from my first gaming PC build, a SanDisk USB drive in college, a Seagate external drive that I used for Xbox games, and I would add this Samsung T7 to the list, but it's not dead yet. Miraculously, I plugged it in the other day just to see, and it mounted up fine to my computer with no issues. It also turns out that I had everything on this drive backed up to my NAS, so I didn't lose any data. Now I won't trust this drive going forward, but at least it could shuttle files around if I need it to, and it's nice to know that it's not totally done yet. So while data backup and cloud storage might seem kind of like a boring topic, I think I finally got a solution here. I'm happy that Backblaze B2 was easy to set up on my NAS, and of course their personal computer backup was easy to set up as well, and I've been a customer there for years. Let me know if you have any tips on how I could automate this system going forward. I'm happy to learn. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.